So you've decided that you want to go to Japan, but there's only one problem. You don't speak Japanese, and you certainly can't read it. So what are you going to do? Today we're going to learn about 10 kanji that you should definitely know before you come to Japan. Trevor in Tokyo. So I've chosen these 10 kanji not particularly because they're easy to learn, but because they've become most prevalent when I first came to Japan and are of particular importance. The first thing to note is that I don't actually expect you to be able to read these kanji. Instead, these are just kanji that you should be able to recognize. My expectation is when you see these kanji, you should know what they mean and more or less what you need to do when you see them. The first one is quite straightforward. It's simply this. This is the yen, or the Japanese currency. You'll see this everywhere in the store for prices. Most Japanese prices are given in numbers which are Arabic numerals, just as in the United States and other countries. So you won't need to know the Japanese numbering system, other than be able to recognize that when you see the yen, it corresponds to a price that you need to pay. The second kanji that we need to learn about today is otoko. Otoko means male. As the kanji for the word male, you'll see it on bathrooms, restrooms, locker rooms, and locations within the store corresponding to male products. Similarly, this is the one that means ona, which is female. As with the male, you'll see it on restrooms, locker rooms, and places in the store that market towards women's products. To avoid any sort of confusion and embarrassing situations, it's good to at least know male and female. Fortunately, most places in Japan that I've seen don't just use this system of characters, but also use other conventional methods, such as pictograms designating a man versus a woman. Nonetheless, it's good to be able to recognize these at a distance. You'll also see these on official forms designating sex. This is the character kuchi. Kuchi means mouth, but it can also correspond to any generic character for opening or entrance or hole. Mouth by itself isn't particularly useful, but as we'll see below, the conjugations that use this character are particularly important when you're first visiting Japan. This is the character new. This means to enter. It can correspond to entering data, entering a membership, entering a club, or most prevalently, conjugated with kuchi to become iriguchi, which means entrance. So if you're looking to enter a building, you'll see these characters designated as iriguchi, meaning entrance. Similarly, this is the kanji shutsu, or de, depending on the conjugation. This is to exit, to leave, or to go out to do something. When conjugated with kuchi, as we've seen previously, it becomes deguchi, which is an exit. This one's perhaps more important than iriguchi, meaning entrance, because presumably you'll be inside of a building and you'll want to leave. This is the sign that you need to find the exit. Deguchi can also correspond to an exit for a freeway or a road, or in the generic sense that we might think of as an exit in English. This is the kanji nega, corresponding to the English word please. This is particularly important because it's used in signage to request you to do something. When it's conjugated in the form onegai shimasu or onegai, this is a request that the sign is producing that it would like you to comply with. If you don't know what that request is, it's always a good idea to whip out your camera, take a translation of the sign, and comply with what the sign is requesting you to do. This might be to take off your shoes, it might be to prepare some documents, it might be something important or not. But if you see this, this is a request that the store, the person, the company that you're talking to or dealing with would like you to comply with. So if you want to be a good guest in Japan, I would recommend that you understand this kanji. Similarly, this is the kanji shi, or to, depending on the conjugation. This means to stop. This is probably the most prevalent kanji on the list, as you'll see this stop kanji everywhere on road signs corresponding to stop signs in the Western world. When conjugated in the form torare, this becomes the command stop or halt. When you see this signage, you don't necessarily need to stop. It depends on the context. If it's treated as a stop sign and requesting you to halt, treat it like an American stop sign, where you would stop at the stop sign until you're either ready to go or till you checked both sides of the street. You might also see the kanji on electronic appliances, and here it can correspond to what we would think of as off or stop. So if you have an electronic appliance and it has this kanji, this button will stop whatever that appliance is doing. This could be a light switch, this could be a bidet, this could be a hairdryer. This kanji corresponds to the stop button. This is the kanji kin, which corresponds to the English word forbidden. It's particularly important that when you see this kanji to understand what is going on. When conjugated with the previous kanji, shi, this kanji becomes a very strong command of you are forbidden to do. This might be, you are forbidden from parking here. You are forbidden from going in here without proper authorization. You are forbidden. Obviously, you want to understand what this is referring to. So if you see this kanji, particularly with this kanji and the previous stop kanji together, you definitely want to take a picture of that sign or that form or whatever it is that this kanji appears on and understand what they are requesting you very strongly not to do, and ideally to comply. You might see this on some stores that are requesting you to not take photography inside, or that you are forbidden from wearing your shoes inside. Finally, the 10th kanji that I've chosen is the kanji setsu, or ki, depending on the conjugation. This kanji means to cut, but that isn't the usage that's most popular and more prevalent. The usage that I see on most items is similar to the word for off, but here it's cut in the sense of cut the power or cut the utility of the appliance. So you might see this on some electronic remotes or buttons or switches, and here it corresponds to the equivalent of off or cut the power. So if you're looking at your Japanese device in your Japanese hotel room and you're trying to figure out how to turn off the bidet that you've turned on or the weird wacky invention in the corner, look for either the shi stop kanji or this ki cut kanji. So I hope that these 10 kanji that you've learned about today will be useful on your trip in Japan, and I hope to see you here one day. This has been Trevor in Tokyo. See ya next time.